I mean, I'm just going to ask what's your reaction to that second half?
I mean, what do you guys think? It's pretty fucking awesome, I think. Sorry for my language, but wow, that was I said earlier in the season that our story wasn't written yet. It wasn't necessarily that we wanted the season to start, but that we would finish it, and we finished it. For that to be the last game in Risa for me and some of my teammates, I'll remember that moment for the rest of my life.
It was 31-10, and it kind of looked like you guys were melting down at one point. What got you back into the rhythm?
Belief, man, belief. We've been in situations like that before. I mean, so many times throughout my career here, we've been down bad, and unfortunately, a lot of those times we've kind of conceded and we've lost those games. But I think that something in this culture has really changed over the last year or two, and there is a belief that no matter what the score is, man, we just keep executing, keep playing, never stop. Make it hard on the other team that we can win. And it sounds cliche, but I just think it was belief in our teammates, belief in one another, belief in ourselves that we had the skill, we had the talent, we had the ability to execute, and when it mattered, belief in our coaches. It was just complete and total faith.
What does it feel like doing this then on senior day too to you? Can you even put that into words?
No, I can't. I honestly can't. I can't. It's a very, very special feeling. Just even I mean, during the game, to stand there, to look up in the crowd, I've never seen a stadium like that before. And it was about probably midway through the fourth quarter when I realized, like, doesn't matter what happens, we're going to win this game. We haven't worked so hard over the past 5 years to pack the stadium like that and play in a game like that to lose, and we did it.
It seemed like from the warm-ups, it just the vibe of the team during warm-ups just felt a little bit different. How badly did you guys want this win?
I'm sorry. There's really no words to describe what that just felt like. All week we've obviously game plan like they've game planned. We practice like they practice, but there's been a very special feeling in the air here. We knew that was going to be the outcome. We didn't know how we were going to get there. We always talk about it's about the process. It's not about the place that we end up. It's just about the process and trusting it and working every day, grinding every day. And all week we knew that if we followed the process, we would get there. We would get to the outcome we wanted. And so, yeah, I think going into warm-ups, it was just everyone was locked in on the process, just getting dialed in for the game. And when things weren't going good, everyone fell back to the fundamentals, fell back to the things that had gotten us to the opportunity to play in a game like that. They trusted themselves. They trusted the things that they knew they could do. And, yeah, I think it did start in warm-ups. I felt it in warm-ups. I felt the energy from the crowd. I felt the energy from my teammates. It was a special feeling from start to beginning. I think there's a lot of energy, though.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
Hello, everyone.
Trayshawn, it's 31-10. I think you were kind of in the middle of that with a fumble and all that. I mean, it was as low as you probably could get. What got you guys off the mat and turned it around?
Believing in the next play. Preaching on the sideline, it's all about faith. We got to keep faith, and our guys went out there and did it.
But it's one thing to say that, though. I mean, where does that come from, though, I guess? Because you just don't see that happen all the time.
It comes from in here. It just, whoever got heart is going to show it. So if we're preaching that and everyone's feeding off the next, it's going to affect the whole team.
So at halftime, you guys kind of went in looking kind of down, dejected. Third quarter, looked a little down. Did someone step up? Did a coach step up? Or was it just you guys battling?
It's just the same routine that we go in every week. Every time we're at halftime, we meet with our position groups, and we just have a discussion among ourselves, and then whatever happens after that happens.
You guys want it, to win all your games, but does this one mean just a tad bit more?
Yeah, it does. It's the last one, especially for me, being a senior. Last one in Reeser, it meant so much to me.
Simon, after that call where the spot and all that, and they ended up on the 5-yard line, and they just started moving the ball drive after drive. What got you guys back into it defensively to turn it around?
It's all about our mindset to just don't let that kind of set us back or hang our heads up on it. It's about every guy kind of pulling each other up. If you see somebody hang their head, to put their head up. We're not done. The game isn't over. The game isn't over until 60 minutes, maybe even more, have passed.
What went through your mind when you were able to Ben nailed down, it was over? I mean, kind of an improbable win. What went through your mind?
We did it. I would say, especially as a senior, it's really nice to just kind of end the last home game on a win and just like the emotions going through, and you could see it in everybody's eyes. Yes, all the seniors, all the 20 seniors that walked today, and especially just like this is our last game at home. We managed to win. We managed to end here on a good note.
Simon, how satisfying was it to kind of put the game on ice with a goal line stand there? Obviously, as a defensive lineman, that's all you.
Yeah, it always feels good, but it doesn't matter. It's always it's the whole defense. Just because it's on the goal line, the safeties, corners, everybody's involved. So it's a defensive effort every time, and that's why you can clearly see our defense is doing pretty well. And it's really nice to have all those guys behind you, especially as a D tackle, to be like, okay, everybody behind me can do it too. So it feels great.
This group, all you guys that are going to be done after this game, looking around and ending it like this, do you feel like you guys have left a pretty indelible mark on this culture and this team moving forward?
I think so, and even just talking to Coach Smith and Coach Lange and everybody, just like this group that's been here now for several years, just being able to you see the culture change, and all these guys have been able to be part of that, and I think that leaves a legacy, especially for all the guys that are gone after this year.
Next up, we have Jaden Grant.
Jade, I know you got stuff to say. What went through your mind when the clock hit zero and you put a kind of cap to kind of a pretty improbable win?
I mean, all I can say right now, first and foremost, I give all the glory to God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without Him, none of this is possible. And man, He really works miracles. The fact that I even played in this game I'm just so thankful to be a small part of this program. And man, those guys in those locker room, these fans, these coaches, everybody sitting there, A.D. Barnes, Kimya, this whole program deserves this win. So I just couldn't be more thankful for everybody in this program.
What was going through your mind on that last Oregon drive where they obviously had a chance to win the game or take the lead anyway? I mean, there were times when the defense had some issues today, and you guys had a chance to settle that at the end. What was going through your mind, I guess, during that drive? I
mean, the same mantra is bend, don't break. Bend, don't break. You just you bite, you scratch, you claw, you fight, you keep competing your butt off, and you make them snap it again. And that's what we did on that fourth down stop, and we kept making them snap it again. And, obviously, the rest is history, I guess.
Jaden, you've been here, when you were new here in the program, you probably saw the program at the bottom. And where you guys are now, can you talk a little bit about this culture and how it's changed?
If you want to look at the culture and the shift in the culture over the last, years or so, just look at how this game went. We were down 21 points in the third quarter. Things weren't going our way, offensively and defensively in that third quarter. But, one thing that you never saw any finger pointing. You never saw any heads down. You saw a bunch of leaders on the team, round and round. It's a long game. And we just have the utmost, belief in one another. And so when you keep on believing, you're never out of it until the clock hits, quadruple zero, whatever it is. So, our mantra, it's been all year, is we're just going to keep on fighting. We're going to keep on fighting. And we came out victorious.
This one is probably going to be an instant classic. I know you guys want to win all, 12 games, but does this one mean a little bit more?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't, if I said it didn't. I think that, throughout the course of the season, you focus game by game. But, every single body, especially, those Oregon kids, you have that game, circled on your calendar. And you're ready for it because you know how much it means. I can remember, being in 4th, 5th grade, walking into school, and it's either you're on orange or you're with the green and yellow. And so you just know how much this game means for the whole entire state. And, like I said, shout out to them, obviously a great team, but, we were the better team.
Two more for Jaden.
Jaden, coaches always talk about winning the game in all three phases. Oftentimes, special teams kind of gets looked over, but what did the special teams play in those plays that they made on those punts mean to this game?
those were huge. Those completely changed the games. Not only the special teams play, but I mean, a lot of times when you see the returner not going to get the ball on the kickoff, you have a tendency to get relaxed. But that wasn't the case. When the ball bounced up in the air, we had guys flying. Were able to pin them down in good field position. So it's just a testament of the culture once again. Everybody owning their roles and just doing it to the best of their ability. Not caring who gets the credit.
Jaden, what'd you see on kind of that play where you guys stopped Bo Nix? They went for it in their own territory. How surprised were you that they went for it, and what'd you see on that play to stop?
I knew they were gonna do that because it was tempo and it was 4th and 1. So anytime they tempo 4th and 1, they're usually just running an inside zone read. And I was actually supposed to be high safety, but I just told my nickel, you have to be by yourself right here, because I knew that it was going to be either inside run or the quarterback's pointed off the edge. And so I showed up as soon as the ball snapped, and he had pulled it. I don't think he was expecting it. Was able to go low and make a nice hit and stop him from the first down.
Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you guys so much.
Next up, we got Jack Coletto.
I apologize in advance if I don't have a voice anymore, but who's first?
Why is it you don't have a voice anymore? Where did it go? Late in the game or during the game? Or
I have no idea. I mean, after the game, I was screaming, yelling. I don't know what was going on. Everything went numb. And there's such a rush of emotion.
I've asked this question a few times. Can you explain where it turned around at 31-10? I mean, I know you guys believe you can come back, but where does that really come from? I mean, was there somebody say something on the sideline, or was it? What do you feel like triggered it, I guess?
I mean, I don't think from what I know, anything was really said on the sideline. It was in the middle of the third quarter. The game wasn't really over, and I believe that all of our teammates knew that. And I mean, it's a 4-quarter game. Things happen all the time. So you can't really waver too much one way or that way depending on the score. You got to play a scoreless game. And we did that.
So you've been through a lot in your time at Oregon State, but how much does this one mean?
I mean, it's like poetry. And you think about my time when I first got here in 2018, and it's like program came off of a 1-win season, I believe, and came in at quarterback. And then the struggles, going in there, I didn't really get the results I wanted immediately, but I believed in sticking with the system. And my dad was a big influencer on that, and the coaches believed in me. They're the ones who gave me the scholarship and wanted me to come here. So I felt like I owe it to them to stick with it and find a way to get on the field and contribute. And I mean, it's just there's my story about that, but there's so many of the guys. You talk about Jaden Grant, Tristan Jebbia, all of the seniors who've given up so much and sacrificed so much just for this program, and to see it kind of go out like this and end like this and this be your last game. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
2 more for Jack.
Jack, Kyrie made a couple of huge plays. The secondary just came up big, kind of that whole fourth quarter. I mean, what'd you kind of see defensively from that unit kind of stepping up there?
I think as, we started scoring on offense and the energy kind of transferred to defense, and, we didn't really turn back. And we had a really dominant fourth quarter on top of our assignments and our work and playing physical and making plays at the point of attack, and it showed. And, our defense played the way we expected to in the fourth quarter, and was enough to win the game.
You mentioned a second ago the low points. I'm sure you're proud to go out like this, but to be able to go out like this and then it seems like kind of set up for the next few years, do you take pride in that as a group and how, maybe you've kind of changed the trajectory of this program a little bit with this specific group?
I genuinely believe there is nothing better than coming in to a system and being able to turn it around and create something out of it. And to be able to do that along with the support of Beaver Nation and all the fans, there's nothing better than that. Because, you could go to a school that's already successful and be implemented in the program and, understand that as everything's kind of set in place. But to kind of start from scratch and take on this new coaching staff and believe in their philosophy and stick through it. And it was a 5-6 year process to turn this program around. And to be at the other side of winning and being able to win this ball game, it's unreal.
Thank you, Jack.
Great. Thanks, guys. Go Beavs.
Rajon, you guys had these wins over Stanford and Fresno State were kind of incredible comebacks. Did that kind of set the table for today? You guys knowing that things were possible if you just keep playing?
Yeah, I mean, we're coached to play all 60 minutes. We know how long the game is. We know how long 4 quarters is. I mean, the team did a hell of a job of just continuing to compete. I mean, that's what we teach around here.
You look exhausted. You played a tough game. You're probably also exhausted emotionally. An emotional day for you guys coming in, being on top, and then they come back right after in the second half, get that interception followed by a touchdown. Just how did you kind of contain those emotions and use them to your advantage to kind of take advantage of that in the fourth quarter?
Well, I'm not that exhausted. I didn't get to play as much as I would like due to injury, but I think the team just did a hell of a job just managing the momentum, managing everything that was going on, the ebbs and flows of the games, the highs and the lows. I think they didn't ride the highs or ride the lows. They stayed even keel, and I think they just did an amazing job continuing to fight.
Just how impressive is it to watch this team's run game, and what do you think that kind of says about the kind of program you guys have built here?
I think we built a hell of a program. I think Coach Smith and the coaching staff has done a hell of a job. I think the players bought in. I think everybody around the building has bought in, from the media people to the people who make our lunch. I think everybody just loves Oregon State football. And I think the run game, the pass game, it all goes hand in hand. It's just hard work.
All right. Thank you, Rajon.
So I know you've got things to say about how your reaction to this afterward. What went through your mind when all this was said and done?
Man, the entire time, the team was just, let's stay together. Offense, y'all are going to go down the score. Defense, we're going to go get a stop. And, the entire time we were just, let's stay on the same page. Let's keep working together. We're going to get the outcome we want. We're not leaving this field without a W. Ooh, it felt good.
There was a stretch where it seemed defensively you guys really couldn't do much of anything. And then whatever clicked. You were making, like, you had the third down tip pass. And, it just seemed like everything was coming. What changed?
Honestly, for a second there, we did get away from execution. We just started playing. We weren't doing things that we were coached to do, things that we've done over and over and over again. And we kind of came back, especially at halftime and, a little in that third quarter, we came back and said, you know what, take a deep breath and let's just do what we do, man. Let's just play ball and execute like we've done all year. And, we'll get the outcome we want. So once we finally started locking in on our execution and our jobs, it just shifted. We started getting stop after stop and offense kept scoring.
So Twitter was abuzz with fans that felt that the refs were kind of inserting themselves into the game a little bit. Do you guys feel that you maybe had to go even overboard to really to win that game?
We're always in the kind of the zone that, no matter what happens, we're going to have to just keep going. Refs on our side, not on our side, whatever, calls going our way. You never know what's going to happen. The only thing that we can control is, I know it sounds so cliche, is our execution. It's just, what are we going to do? The refs might give them a couple calls, but how are we going to answer? Are we going to break? Are we going to bend a little bit? Or are we going to come back and make some plays, get a fourth down stop on the goal line? You know what I'm saying?
Kyrie, I don't think I've ever seen you without a smile on your face, but I can sense the emotion here. I'm just curious if maybe this is the proudest moment of your career and maybe the highest you've felt.
Shoot, man, that's a great point you just said right there, man. This feels so amazing because, just after this game, just the years of work that this team has put together for the year, just in the summer, in the spring, people going down, people stepping up. The many of hours in the games that we didn't come on top, where we kind of fell short, just all of those things kind of flash in front of you, and it's like, dang, man, we're finally moving in that direction that this program has always been going, and it just feels good to get over that hump, win big games, and it's just, oh my gosh, it feels so amazing. Seriously.
My last one for Kyrie.
What role did special teams play in this game? Obviously, you guys had those two huge plays against the punt.
Actually, during the week, that's what they said. They said special teams. It's going to come down to special teams. Special teams making big plays in this game is going to be the difference between winning and losing. We got some big plays on special teams and changed the momentum totally. You see what I'm saying? So our coaches, they mentioned that during the week. We knew that, hey, for us to get the outcome we want, we're going to have to be on point on all phases. Special teams was the biggest one, so focus on that, got the stop, and made it happen.
Thanks, Kyrie.
All right, thank y'all.
Tyjon, you see all those fans on the field, the students. What was going through your mind, just in kind of putting what happened in those 3.5 hours?
Yeah, the feeling that we got when we was on the field, it was second to none. I was here when we won that game in 2020, so we didn't really have the fans there, and it was a total different experience. So when we knew that we were gonna come out on the victorious side, it was indescribable. Fans rushing the field. This is one at home that we've been waiting to get. Always being overlooked and all that by the team on the other side of the city. So getting this win, especially as a senior in my last game, so it's a great feeling, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It felt like I won a Super Bowl. I'll be real with you. So
It was 31-10, and it didn't seem like anything was going right at the time. Was that run by Damian, the 43-yarder? Did that feel like maybe a trigger there that got you guys going again? Because it seemed like it was a little bit on the lifeless side until he made that big run.
yeah, I totally agree with you. And he's one of those type of players that could develop that spark in the game that we need. And obviously, that play sprung us big across the field and helped us be able to execute and get in the end zone. So I love how these running backs have been running. I love how Damian runs the ball as a young guy, and he has a lot of years ahead of him for football. And I'm honestly excited to see what those guys could do. Damian, Jam, you got Deshaun Fenwick, Kanoa, Isaiah Newell scored 2 touchdowns today. I'm just very excited to see what the Beavers are going to do in the next coming years when we're all gone, man.
It seemed like, at the beginning of this season, your team was very confident that you were capable of winning a Pac-12 championship. And even though you guys might not have that opportunity this year, you beat a team that was going to have that opportunity. Was that ever kind of in your minds while you were playing this game, or just how proud of you of still coming out on top? Does this win make it worth it?
Yeah, this win makes it worth it. Even though, we probably won't get that opportunity to go to the Pac-12 championship, we still have opportunity to play more football. And, we can't complain about that. That's a great opportunity for us. It's our second year back-to-back being able to play postseason. So we're just thankful. And we put in a lot of work. We deserve a lot of things, and we take it when we do. And on this field today, it showed. And no matter what is at stake, if you come into our home, man, we're going to show you how the Beavers play. And that's what we did today. And like I said, regardless of what game we're in, I just know that we're always going to give 110%, regardless.
So
Last one
Tyjon,
for Tyjon.
So Tyjon, you came in with Coach Smith. You and Tristan were former 4-stars, came in, huge recruiting, transfer portal. You were on the cusp of Oregon State winning a 10th game for the 3rd time in history. How much does that make, or how do you feel with that, knowing that you were part of that?
I just feel joyous, I didn't realize, that was at stake. And I just look around the locker room, look around the facility, and just, notice that, it's a different type of football team than when I first got here. And these guys are buying in. These guys are treating each other like brothers rather than just teammates, on and off the field. We're watching over for each other. And, just knowing what we have done so far, I was on that team, we was 1-10 or 2-10. So, I remember those feelings, and I always kept that feeling in my stomach so I would not be able to feel that again. So, being able to be on the flip side of that, I'm just thankful overall. Just thankful for my teammates, my coaches, fans, Beavs, and everything. Just very thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you, Tyjon.
Appreciate it.
Special teams usually gets talked about when things don't go well, but you guys really contributed today. It seemed like with the blocks and the returns and the punts and everything. Did you guys feel like you really had a big contribution in the win today?
Sure. Our kickoff, that was pretty big at the end there, flipping the field, pinning them back in their inside the 20. So when they have to, go the length of the field, it can really change a game like it showed.
Luke, we've heard, other people talk about how important you are to this team. Coach Smith has talked about it, but we haven't actually gotten a chance to ask you, like, how big of a role do you feel like you play on this team as a punter and, a part of the game that maybe doesn't get the headlines and whatnot, but it feels like you've been a steady presence there for, your entire career now?
Well, I really don't punt that much. Like, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 times a game. So if I do get in, I want our punt to do as well as it can. But yeah, like our 2 guys on outside, I mean, they've been doing a great job all year. It makes my job a lot easier. So yeah.
You probably have a pretty unique look at this whole thing, being a punter and everything, and you said this is your first time. Like, when you kind of zoom out now and you look at where this team has come, do you guys as a group of kind of last year players feel like kind of pride in where this has gotten to now? And I know going out like this is probably a cherry on top, but.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I'm just very thankful. It's unreal how far we've come, and just everyone's bought in, and yeah, I really can't believe it.
Thanks, Luke.
Well, what was the view from the sideline?
Oh, well, that was one of the best games the most just electrifying games I've ever seen. And I was just talking about it outside. We've had like 3 of those this year now. The Fresno State and Stanford, and this one. I mean, this is one that the guys down there in the locker room deserve after all the years of work that we put in. And geez, to be 9-3 is just it's amazing.
And you're 2-0. I mean, I don't know. 2018 counts as active or not, but you're actually 2-0 against the Ducks at home. So.
At home, yeah, that's pretty great. Like that.
So you and Tyjon Lindsey came in with Coach Smith when he came in as 2 very highly recruited transfers.
Yep.
You've seen this program kind of through everything. Just talk about how happy you are. I mean, the team right now has a chance for its 3rd 10-win season ever.
Yeah.
How does that make you, with looking back?
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to the work that the coaches have been putting in upstairs, and recruiting the right guys and having, just a really good group of guys that, in the locker room, and the work that they've put in for so long. I mean, you do things the right way, and you stay process oriented, and you care about the little details. I think this is what happens, and when you have a good coaching staff like we do, this is how it goes, I think, and hopefully we just keep building on that. I might not be around for that, but I'll always be back around, hopefully. So.
Just how impressive was it to watch what the offensive line did today? That second half kind of seemed like you guys were going to run the ball no matter what, and they kind of just dominated.
Yeah, Brandon Kipper, Jake Levengood, Josh Gray, like those guys are the leaders of that room, and I'm so proud of those guys. I've been around them a long time, and just the mentality that they have, like load the box and let's go, and but Brandon Kipper and what he's been able to do and instill in our offensive line, having meetings and, leading that room like he's almost a coach. And so I'm excited for Jake to take the helm next year too, and really he's already a captain, so you gotta love Jake, and then Josh will probably be a captain next year too, and Tolly. Those guys, most of the whole line comes back, so it's pretty exciting.
Seems like the motto for the team this year has kind of been this next man up mentality, meaning that no matter who is on the field, the expectations are the exact same. Being in your position, what do you feel like, how do you feel like your role has contributed to the culture of this team, being able to say that no matter who's on the field, the expectations are the same, and it's the job to get the job done?
Yeah, I think it starts with your details and your preparation. I can't think of a position group that doesn't spend extra time in the facility to, you just don't get to an opportunity to have a 10-win season by accident. These guys have been in here working hard since, since last January, and so I'm just so proud of those guys and what they've been able to accomplish in these last 12 weeks, and it's been a blessing to be a part of it. It really has.
Thanks, Tristan.
Yep.
Obviously tough to totally explain, but couldn't speak more to just how proud I am of this group, these seniors, the culture in regards to the guys just believing, battling, didn't play perfect, didn't play our best for a long period of time, but knowing this game is a long game, and they found a way at the end. Credit to our crowd. Look, in the middle of the third quarter, it did not look good, but they didn't leave. They were hanging around, and they made a difference in the fourth quarter. Couldn't thank Beaver Nation enough. And for this senior crew that has been through a lot, to be able to play their last game in Research Stadium in a game like that and to finish the way they did, really, really happy for them. Questions?
You won 8 games, and this was the 9th. Was this a win? Does it feel like you needed a win like this to really set this season apart from everything?
I do think this win changes things in regards to this season, because I do. We found a way to win close games, and getting to 8 wins was nice, and for us to be able to finish this way at home, get to 9 for the senior piece, obviously against a team that we got a bunch of respect for, but we definitely want to beat. It means a ton.
What was the explanation given to you on the spot there? That seemed to turn everything around.
You know, those guys. Explanation I get is that they've reviewed it already before. We wondered whether we're challenging, or they're looking at every call and they're looking at every spot.
How did you feel like it just seemed like from that point for the next 6 or 7 minutes things just went sideways? Did you feel like your team sort of lost it emotionally and then eventually got it back?
I did think we were down. I mean, let's face it, the momentum and where it was. And at the back of our mind, though, if we could get a score and get the thing back in our direction, we had a chance, and we did that. So much went on in that end of the third quarter, the fourth quarter. But once we got kind of the crowd back into it, no one getting within 2 scores, this is still a long football game. Our guys have been believing that from the whole time. That made a difference.
Not only to win, but to do it in this way, where you win in the margins on special teams. Your seniors make huge plays. You win on those big downs. Given the way you guys have built this thing, is that a little bit of a pipe dream for you?
I mean, it does. A lot that went on in this game is what we've been preaching, and these guys believing in. Margins is a well-described word. I mean, these guys, we can find ways to win in all 3 phases. All 3 phases need to make plays. Special teams did show up huge. Seniors showed up huge. Backups showed up huge. I mean, Tanner Miller plays center the entire second half. Isaiah Newell comes in for some big-time carries. Rayshawn Wright can't totally finish. Jaden Robinson's playing corner the whole second half. And so it was a true team effort.
When things get a little, maybe the referees insert themselves a little more than you like, do you tell the team, like, okay, we need to go out and, like, make no question? Or?
No, we don't talk a ton about the officials. I do think that's not an easy job, and these are bang plays, and you're not going to get every call that goes your way. And just like any game, every play is not going to be perfect. There's going to be a lot of plays in the game. We've got to be able to battle back and respond from it, and these guys did.
How big was this game? I know Oregon, everybody says one game at a time, but Oregon does mean maybe a little bit more. Have you sat back and thought that you are 1 game away from 10 wins, which would be the 3rd time in program history?
We talked about a little bit, especially heading into last week, getting to 8. You can't get to 10 without 8, and we got that done. I do think these guys will be motivated in a bowl game to get to 10 and be able to finish our last home game in this place that was dynamic, electric, huge home field advantage because of our fan base. It's special, and we definitely got 1 more game.
You guys go on to score 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter after that final punt stop. You talked about special teams. Just how big were their play in those plays today to help this game?
Yep, really big. Obviously got the early block punt early in the game. Kickoff return, field position, getting it down. Silas has a huge return down to the 50. We got they didn't execute a punt. Just kind of like we weren't executing earlier in the game, making some mistakes, turning the ball over and things. So, but teams were huge for us. I think our kickoff unit was big in field position too, and so the way we covered and got some good field position there.
Jonathan, obviously the defense today allowed a little bit more than we've seen at Research Stadium, but 0 of 5 for Oregon on 4th down. Can you talk about how important
Huge.
that was, and was that one of the big difference
Yeah, it
makers?
changed the game. I mean, even on their last drive, I mean, let's face it, go down to the ball on the 5. They got 4 downs to get it, and we get the 4th down stop there. We had the huge play by Jaden on 4th down, too, to change the momentum there. Again, defensively, that's a good offense, and you knew they were going to move the ball and score. But we kept battling and battling. We didn't play our best, but when it counted on 4th down, we showed up.
They've had some issues with punting this year. You had the block, they dropped the punt, the 4th down stuff. Did you guys put a little bit more emphasis on those situations during practice this week, knowing that they had some trouble there?
I don't think it was more emphasized. I think that we feel confident on special teams that we can affect the punter and get some return game. Anthony Gould's been huge for us on punt return. We know that special teams matter, and these guys are bought into it. And then anytime, short yardage, they're similar to us. 4th down, there's a lot of opportunities to go. They were going to go, and we've done the same. And so huge stops on 4th down.
Jonathan, when you got here, the first few years talking about the process and how much you had to go and where you came from, and you've got a lot of guys that have kind of gone through almost that whole thing with you and your coaching staff. How rewarding is it for you to see their success, and for you guys too to have the success now that you've had?
Yeah, totally rewarding, especially a lot of these guys who came up and spoke to you before me that have been here a long time. Some heavy lifting in year 1. I still go back. I'm pretty proud of the year 2 in regards to how close we were and making some real momentum. And these guys have been around it. Jaden's going to hear Kipper the way he's gone, and I could go down the list. But really happy for these guys to go out and reach their stadium the way they did.
Coach, I mean, what can you say about what the offensive line did the second half, and what have you seen kind of growth-wise from that unit all year to be able to get to that?
That O-line played good in that second half, making the thing physical, wanted to get back to the run game. Look, let's face it, we start the second half the way we did, turning the thing over, got some opportunities and explosive in the run game. I thought that drive toward the end of the 3rd quarter, Damian has the long crease. Really, the O-line's doing that. And then they finished the game in the 4th quarter.
You guys didn't shy away from pretty high expectations this offseason, and I think it probably caught some people off guard. But to finish the season this way, I guess when you take a step back, what should expectations be for this program now the next few years?
Yeah, we'll take a step back and digest the whole year. I think the program's at a place that every time we line up, we got a chance to win. And you're going to get a chance to play, 12 games in the regulation. And that's the expectation. Every time we line up, we got a great chance to win.
Anything can happen in a sporting event, especially in such a big game like this. But there was a point in this game where it did seem like it was getting a little bit out of hand, and I'm sure you felt that. At what point did you personally feel that shift where you were able to not relax, but maybe be like, okay, I think we can actually come back from this and pull off a win?
Yeah, I think after Deshaun Fenwick, who's sitting out here making all the noise, he gets it done on 3rd and short. We needed a 1st down to be able to run the clock out, and he got that done. I felt a little bit comfortable at that moment that we could actually, take a few knees because it didn't go well. It did talk about it. We got open the half. We got a 3 and out. They punt us the ball, and then immediately we throw an interception, and they run it pretty practically back, and they score. Talked about it. There's no difference in them getting the ball and running down and score. So offensively, we've got to get some things going. Didn't immediately get it going. But there still was just a lot of time left in the game. This college football, it's a long game, and our guys know this, and they believe that you got to be able to play for 4 quarters.
And then just a little bit of a different topic, the Spencer Webb tribute, even though this was a rivalry game, what did that mean to be able to give that gesture to Oregon in a game like this?
Yeah, these games are meaningful and impactful, but there is just so much more to life that's going on for them to, you have to endure something like that. We were going to pay tribute to that. Asked our guys, too, to be able to be respectful of that. There's emotions in this rivalry, and there's going to be a lot of things going on during the game, but there is a bigger perspective for that, and we definitely wanted to be able to pay tribute to it.